How's it going, everybody? This is Aaron the Pedantic, and I am excited to reveal to y'all something that most of you probably already know. There is a new Kickstarter for a new printing of Swords and Wizardry. Matt Finch's very fantastic, classic OSR retro clone of kind of this OD&D, but whenever it had a lot of the supplements released. And there are a lot of really fantastic ways that he references the different kind of options and things like that. There's a lot of history kind of thrown into these books here, so you can kind of know the context of where a lot of these rules come from and how they're implemented. And then there's different variations that are offered and things like that, especially where there are things that are unclear. Finch gives his opinions. Swords and Wizardry is fantastic. The thing that it really has going for it more than anything, I think, is that it is fairly rules light. I mean, so if you weren't wanting rules light, you probably would go with AD&D anyway. If you were wanting rules light, then usually you had to choose between some kind of basic derivative, basic as in, BX, or even, BECMI, or something that is entirely different, like black hack, or something that is kind of eschewing the traditional systems and all that in order to just try something new, and it's a little bit more avant-garde. That's usually what you have. Well, with Swords and Wizardry, what you have is you have OD&D along with all these awesome things from AD&D later became AD&D, things that were put into the supplements and all that. So you have these very light rules. You've got your combat system is all there. And you have these very basic spells. When I say basic, again, I have to clarify what I mean by that is that they are not as intricately developed and spelled out as they are in first edition AD&D. They're a lot easier to run. Everything is a lot easier to run, simply in the fact that the mechanics are pretty simple. The effects of them are pretty significant. They should not be ignored or underestimated. But the fact of the matter is that this is a fantastic game for whenever you kind of want a lot of the options that AD&D gives you without as much of all the extra stuff that comes with it. So instead, what you can get from this is you can get the extra classes. You can get the fact that there is the division between race and class. You can get multi-classing. You can get dual classing. You've got your bard and your druid, and you've got your assassin. You've got all those things. You've got higher level spells because BX ends at a certain point. One that BECMI continues on, but it kind of goes on to quite crazy levels. It's a lot more runnable in certain ways. So Swords and Wizardry is really fantastic. If I can't clarify that enough, it is. So why get this printing? Well, I would say that the number one reason to get this printing is if you don't already have it. And I've noticed that it is getting increasingly difficult to find because there was a certain point that I was really wanting to buy some table copies so that I can lend them to some players, or at least have some more for reference at the table whenever I do run a Swords and Wizardry game. And I was having a hard time buying copies that weren't pretty astronomical. So what do we have here? So we have $35 for this book right here, along with a PDF. This is traditionally printed. It's got, the good stitching and all that. Should be a high quality book. I just got the Tome of Adventure design from Mythmere not that long ago, and it is, fantastically printed. It is very high quality. I love the ever-loving crap out of it. I'll do a video on it. But that's what you're looking at there. The other options primarily are going to be print on demand, and then there's just a bunch of digital stuff. So here are the print on demand options. You have this Errol Otis artwork one, and then you have this green one, which is just kind of like it's kind of a same layout and everything as the blue one. Me personally, I'm going with the blue one just because I love a traditionally printed book. Print on demand is not bad, but if I can choose between the two and the costs are not, incredibly different, then I'm usually going to go with the printed traditionally printed one. And in the case of this one, you're pretty much going to go with the print on demand, not because it's cheaper, but because you like the idea of the printed on demand cover, probably more. So I'm assuming that the 69 backers who chose the one with the, well, I assume that they went with the Errol Otis one, unless they just really like the color green, because I really don't see why you would pick the green one over the blue one if you really wanted to, yeah, I feel like it'd have to be a color thing. And I would say that most people seem to agree. We have 743 backers who chose the traditionally printed and PDF. You have some that chose for both. Then you get some backers. A lot of backers actually got all in, so they got everything, every little thing. There's a lot of stuff that comes with it. So you have the PDF, the printed copy. You have the at-cost print-on-demand code for the rule book, for the other ones. You have some introductory adventure, another solo adventure. A solo adventure, that's interesting. Physical copy of intro adventure. So here's a physical. So you get physical copies of those two adventures, and that total is $88. It's really not that much for what you're getting there. Now, whenever you do get the print on demand, if you do get the print on demand, you'll notice that it said 25 for that, and it says 35 for traditionally printed. They're estimating that whenever you pay for the price of printing for the print on demand, because it gives you one at cost. So you end up having to pay the cost of printing the book. And they're estimating it's going to be $10. The way things have been going, it may be higher, by the time they're actually finished. So that is something to be aware of. Okay, so if you don't already have it, that is one reason. That is why I'm getting the blue one. Now, I have the physical box set, but I would like to have table copies. And so because of that, and also I'd like to have just a complete book. And I didn't get the old one with the other Errol Otis artwork on it. So in order to do that, I'm getting the blue one. Okay, so let's talk about the other reason people might want to get it. And that is that they are going non-OGL. So this is going to be utilizing, let me see, there's a statement on this somewhere. They're going to be utilizing not the OGL license, which that is something that a lot of people care quite a bit about. They are developing a third-party license to be used with their stuff, and it's going to be compatible with another license. It's so they just recently, I think just last night, they did a video. Matt Finch did a video on some channel where he was talking about this a lot more specifically. I'll be perfectly honest. A lot of that is over my head, so I'm not going to weigh into it too much. I'm going to assume that most people are really not all that concerned about that. But I guess the takeaway that's positive is that this is something that Matt Finch is thinking about. He's thinking about the fact that there are people that want to be able to develop content without all of a sudden it being not theirs anymore. And because of the fact that he's using stuff that's in the Creative Commons now, that's really not going to be an issue. It's really what we're looking at is what kind of deal does he want specifically for people that are using his own proprietary stuff, which I don't know what that is. You'll have to go see what he has to say about that. But that is another reason why some people are wanting to get it. I'd say the third reason, and definitely not one to be undersold, is the idea that Matt Finch is kind of the grandfather of the OSR. Now, he probably would not like to hear me say that. But in a lot of ways, he got the ball rolling in a lot of things. And we have him to thank for, how things have developed the way that they have. Because there were some stubborn people that whenever Wizards of the Coast was doing their thing, who decided, you know what, we don't have to just make adventures. We can just, remake the old systems, because they're kind of hard to get. And lo and behold, we have Osric, we have Swords and Wizardry, we have all of these wonderful systems, basic fantasy, role-playing game, all that great stuff. So thank you, Matt Finch. That is one reason to throw him $35 to help make this thing happen, which it's already happening, but at least to get a little piece of the action, I would say. Hopefully he gets a little profit from it. Very cool dude. I have met him at North Texas RPG Convention. Sat with him for a little bit and talked to him. It was very awesome. Thank you to the guys at Frog God Games for setting that up. Muchly appreciated. He's a very cool guy, very very kind. Just like a lot of the people that have been in the hobby for a long time that genuinely just love the game. Just really really awesome dude. So. There are a lot of good reasons to back this. I really recommend that you check it out. I will put the link in the comments, or not in the comments, in the description so that you can get there yourself. It's not hard to find. But anyway, I hope this was useful and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves.